In this journey through science and astrophysics, we will take you beyond the horizon of possibilities, exploring not only what would happen if the moon came closer, but also the extraordinary discoveries this scenario offers us about our universe. Get ready to explore a future that, though unlikely, allows us to better understand the fragile gravitational dance that makes life on Earth possible. Imagine a night when, looking at the sky, you realize that the moon appears larger and larger. It's not just an optical illusion. The moon is indeed moving closer to Earth. This apocalyptic scenario might seem like pure science fiction, but imagining the consequences of such a close approach helps us understand how crucial our natural satellite is to the planet's balance and stability. The moon is not only responsible for the rhythm of the tides, but it also plays a fundamental role in regulating the tilt of the Earth's axis, influencing the seasons and, more generally, the climate of our planet. If the moon were to progressively move closer to Earth, its effects would not be limited to the coasts and seas. They would affect the entire planetary ecosystem, potentially disrupting the very conditions of life itself. But what would these effects be, and to what extent could humanity adapt or survive? A submerged world. The apocalypse of the tides. The first visible sign of the moon's approach would be a dramatic increase in tidal activity. Currently, the moon's gravitational pull is responsible for the tides we see every day, with water rising and falling in regular cycles. But if the moon were to come closer, this cycle would become far more violent. Imagine waves over 30, 40, or even 50 meters high, flooding entire coastal cities in minutes. Coastal regions around the world, home to billions of people, would become uninhabitable, with permanent flooding and tides penetrating far inland. Entire island nations like the Maldives, the Bahamas, and coastal cities like London, New York, and Shanghai would be wiped off the map, while the continents themselves would undergo massive geographical transformations. Ocean currents, which regulate the Earth's climate, would be disrupted, causing drastic warming or cooling in some regions. A seismic planet, earthquakes and volcanoes. As tidal forces increase, the Earth's crust would be subjected to unprecedented pressures. These pressures could trigger a sequence of devastating earthquakes along sensitive tectonic faults, such as the San Andreas Fault in the United States or the Pacific Ring of Fire. These earthquakes, potentially stronger than any seismic event ever recorded, would cause infrastructure collapses on a global scale, disrupting communication, transport, and supply networks. Furthermore, the titanic forces exerted by the moon would also influence volcanic activity. Magma within the Earth, pushed by the altered pressures, could find new escape routes, triggering large-scale eruptions. Supervolcanoes, like Yellowstone, could erupt, darkening the sky with ash that would cover entire continents, drastically altering Earth's temperature and triggering a volcanic winter that could last for years. A new rotation for the Earth, increasingly shorter days. The moon, in its approach, wouldn't just affect the oceans and Earth's crust, but also the planet's rotation. Earth could begin rotating faster under the moon's gravitational influence, progressively shortening the length of a day. Currently, the moon is slowly drifting away from Earth at a rate of about 3.8 centimeters per year, which slightly slows down the planet's rotation. But in the opposite scenario, with the moon drawing closer, the Earth's rotation would accelerate. Imagine sunlit days lasting only 18 hours or less. This change would affect the sleep-wake cycle of humans, disrupting the circadian rhythms of all living creatures. Plants, which depend on the amount of sunlight, might experience erratic growth or even a reduction in their ability to photosynthesize. Ecosystems, which have evolved to adapt to a 24-hour cycle, would be completely upended. The end of the moon? A ring system around Earth? But what would happen if the moon came too close? There is a limit beyond which the moon would no longer be able to maintain its structural integrity. This limit is known as the Roche limit. If the moon crossed this critical threshold, Earth's tidal forces would begin to tear it apart. The moon would disintegrate, and its debris, instead of falling directly to Earth, could form a ring around our planet, similar to Saturn's rings. However, this ring wouldn't just be a magnificent celestial spectacle. Fragments of the moon could periodically fall to Earth as meteors, creating devastating impacts. These space debris could destroy entire cities, cause global wildfires, and darken the sky with dust and debris, reducing sunlight and triggering global cooling. A delicate balance. Could it really happen? Although the idea of the moon moving closer to Earth is primarily an imaginative exercise, it helps us understand how fragile the balance that governs the Earth-Moon system truly is. Currently, the moon is slowly moving away from Earth at a very slow rate, so a scenario of it drawing closer is not realistic in the short term. However, cosmic catastrophes such as collisions between celestial bodies, gravitational forces, or orbital disintegration phenomena have occurred in our solar system in the past. It is by studying these events that we can prepare to understand the possible futures of Earth and imagine how planetary systems around us might evolve. From climate regulation to tidal influence and geological stability, the moon reminds us of how interconnected life on a planet is with the cosmic balances that surround it. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed the video, please leave a like, subscribe to the channel, and activate the notification bell to stay updated on new videos.